Hi, I'm Dave of Urban Astro, and today I'm going to talk about my infamous RC6. Now, as some of you may remember, last year I did an unboxing video for a TPO, a third planet optics, 6-inch Ritchey-Chrétien telescope. And I got it roughly about the same time last year. It was probably sometime in the month of February or something like that. And I had gotten it because I had planned on using it for galaxy season, because it has a focal length of 1,370 millimeters. And even with the Starzona focal reducer, which I also picked up at the same time, it would still give me around 980 millimeters of focal length. And so I figured it would be a good scope to kind of learn to do that kind of deep space astrophotography, you know, shooting galaxies and clusters and things of that nature. Well, I have to be honest with you. I had the damnedest time trying to get it to collimate. And I struggled with it, and I struggled with it, and I struggled with it, and I struggled with it pretty much all spring. And never really was able to use the scope or do anything with it. I wasted months of time trying to get the blasted thing collimated. I finally just gave up, and I finally decided, you know what? I'm done with this thing. I'm just going to go ahead and put this thing up for sale. And so I pondered it pretty much all summer, and finally in the fall, I decided that it was sitting boxed up in front of my desk for long enough. It was time to finally put the thing up for sale. And so up for sale it went. I had a couple of bites, you know, a couple of people inquired about it, but no one, I guess no one really wanted to buy it. And to be honest with you, I didn't blame them, because, you know, until you can get it working the way that you think it should be working, it's just a painful scope. And finally, the last attempt that I tried to sell this thing was around Thanksgiving, and the guy was supposed to come here to Phoenix and pick it up, and at the last minute he basically said that he couldn't do it. And so I decided at that point in time that, you know, this thing has been sitting inside of a box now for over 6 months. I had spent 4 months before that just trying to get the thing collimated, and it's like, you know what? Let me go ahead, unbox it, and give it another try. Now, my wife wasn't very thrilled with that, because she thought for sure that I would get rid of this thing. I've gotten myself a 10-inch Newtonian, which is a big beast. This thing is a little bit smaller and hopefully a little easier on my EQ6R Pro, which, by the way, right now we are in the middle of rain coming in from California. At least yesterday was cloudy, today is cloudy and rainy, and so I have my two mounts. I picked up a second mount, which is a Lost Mandy, but both mounts are wrapped up in plastic right now and waiting for good weather. And I wrapped them up in plastic instead of tearing them all down, because everything is polar aligned and I didn't want to have to reset everything up. And so here they are, wrapped up in plastic and ready to go. But before the rain and the clouds came, I did take my TPO out, 6-inch Ritchey-Chrétien out. I think I finally got it collimated, and it was kind of interesting. What I found out was most of the collimation videos that you're going to find out there on YouTube are for the 8-inch, and the 8-inch allows you to be able to reach in and remove the internal baffle. And when you reach in, you can just reach in and unscrew it and just pull it out. And there's enough space between the secondary mirror and the side of the OTA that you can just pull that baffle out, and that way you get to see the donut that's on the secondary so that you can collimate the secondary mirror, which was always what my issue was that I could never see the donut on the secondary. And so I played around with the secondary and I tried to get it balanced, and it was just, well, it was just a painful experience. So now that I finally figured out that I actually have to remove the mirror cell in order to be able to collimate this scope. So here is this Ritchey-Chretien, and you see that I've got some tape here with a marking on it. And what that's for is when I remove the mirror cell here, and there's screws here, so you just kind of undo the screws. There's the screws here on the bottom which hold this Los Mandy plate. There's screws here on the top which holds this Vixen plate, and then there's screws on either side, but you remove all those screws and this whole mirror assembly here just pops right on out. And when it pops right on out, you can unscrew the baffle and then stick this thing back on, line up with these lines here, and then put the screws back in enough to hold the mirror cell in place, and then you can go ahead and continue your collimation process. And I found that that was fairly successful and enabled me to be able to finally get this beast collimated. The other helpful thing that I picked up to help with collimation is this tilt adjuster, and this is for the image train here in the back. It allows me to be able to move this image train, if you will, and kind of like and get it aligned so that way we got parallel rays coming through from the secondary on through here to what eventually will become my camera sensor. The other thing that I picked up just to make life easier was that the scope came with a Crayford focuser. And Crayford focusers are great if you're doing visual astronomy, but they're not so great if you're doing astrophotography, because you want pretty much a steady focus point. You don't want anything to slip or slide. And so I picked up from Telescope Services in Germany a focuser. It's called a short focuser. And I probably could use the long one. I actually have the long version of this focuser as well. But anyways, I got this focuser. It's a rack and pinion focuser. It has a little adapter here that you can also pick up so that you can mount the ZWO EAF onto it, which is what I've got set up. And it works like a charm. I'm pretty pleased with it. And also on this particular one, I got my filter drawer here with my SV Boni CLS filter that I just use for just general light pollution filter. And then I've also got the Optolong L-Enhanced filter if I'm going to shoot nebula. And then my 533, my ZWO ASI 533 MC Pro camera here, which has, well, it's not the best camera for 1370 focal length. Basically, I have to get my guiding down to 0.57 arc seconds per pixel in order to really make use of the camera. And my guiding right now, at least on the Los Mandy, which I am still troubleshooting and still tweaking and fine-tuning, is generally 0.7 to 0.9. So the pictures that I've gotten from this thing, which so far really has just been a test run, if you will, of Melotte 15, which is the heart of the Heart Nebula. There's a cluster there, and it's called Melotte 15. And it has some really, really nice nebulosity. But Here's a picture of it. I was able to get it, or get one processed. And as you can see, it's a little bit fuzzy. It's not as sharp and crisp, and that's because of the guiding. My image scale is 0.57 arc seconds per pixel, and so any guiding which is beyond 0.57 is going to start moving into the surrounding pixels, and so what you end up with is a more blurry image. And you can definitely see that here. I was afraid of stars getting really, really bloated, but apparently my stars look fairly decent. They're not as bloated as I would expect them to be, but the image is definitely not clearly in focus. And again, I attribute that largely to the image scale and the requirement to really guide at 0.5 RMS guiding. And like I say, the Lost Mandy right now, I'm between 0.7 and 0.9. I get decent guiding. And so I'm still in the process of troubleshooting it, and still in the process of tweaking it and getting it to the point where I can get decent guiding. So anyways, scope that I was really planning on just getting rid of because I was just so frustrated with it because I could not get this thing to collimate. I finally been able to get through that particular hurdle, and you'll often find that that's kind of what astrophotography is about. Astrophotography can be incredibly frustrating. The journey can be difficult and painful because you pick up new pieces of equipment and you try to integrate that equipment into your setup, but you run into obstacles, you run into issues. In my case, even though I was used to collimating a Newtonian because I used to build them, I was a visual observer for many, many years, and I would put together my own Dobsonians. The last one I did was, I think, a 12-inch with truss design, Newtonian. And so I was used to collimating Newtonian telescopes. It's pretty easy. You just got two mirror axes that you have to worry about. Of course, with a Ritchey-Chrétien, when you get the tilt adapter for the image train, you actually now have 3 axes, which makes it a little more difficult, but it's not impossible. My big issue was just that I would have to remove the mirror cell in order to get access to that baffle. And that's what just kind of threw me, and I wasn't sure that I was willing to open up the mirror cell to take everything apart. But once you get past that initial, I'm not too sure if I want to do this kind of point, once you get past that point, it's pretty straightforward, it's fairly easy, and it makes collimating this thing so much easier. I've done a star test on it and it looks great. And as you can see in the image that I posted, the stars look just fine. So I'm pretty happy with the collimation of this thing. It finally panned out. Now my conundrum is just either trying to get my mount so that I can guide at 0.5 or better, or I have to consider picking up a different camera. And that's kind of where my conundrum is now. But anyways, I decided to keep the RC. I've got it. And hopefully we'll get some decent pictures with this thing once I figure out how I'm going to handle that focal length. And I do have a focal reducer. It's a 0.6, I think it's a 0.67 focal reducer. It's the Starzona Apex L. And I'll throw that thing on there, and again, it brings it down to like 980, which is a little better for the pixel size of the 2 cameras that I've got. I've got both the 533 MC Pro, which is a 3.67 micron pixel size, and my 2600 mm Pro also has the same pixel size. So pretty much I have to get guiding down to 0.7 or better if I use that focal reducer. So again, I'm still troubleshooting the Lost Mandy. We'll see how that works out. The new level 6, which is now going into beta, is coming out here in the next day or two. I'll probably throw that thing on. They recalibrated the servo motors so they get more finer resolution, and so supposedly it enables you to get finer step sizes, finer and less RMS error. So basically, if I'm at like 0.7, I might be able to get down to 0.5. But again, I still need to tweak it and troubleshoot it. I probably still need to play with the gear meshing, but that's a whole different other story. So anyways, that's just kind of a quick update on this RC6. And I'm working on getting it going here so that when Galaxy season, which actually is kind of now, I'll have a scope that I can use for the season and shoot some galaxies and some globular cluster. I know that that's not a lot of people's tea. A lot of people really like the nebulas. A lot of people don't like galaxies or nebula or globular clusters, but I'm anxious to get a few to be able to snag some, and so I'm looking forward to see what this scope can do. Yeah, that's my update. So thank you for coming on this journey with me, this journey of astrophotography, a journey of discovery, a journey of problem solving, a journey of discovering the delights of capturing the beauty of the universe that is before us. Here's another video showing more of my own journey, so come along. And as always, clear skies and happy guiding.